Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our Chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition, and we turn now to poem 463, I Live With Him, I See His Face. The poem originally, when published in 1896 by our publishers, was called Newman Lumen. This is maybe another love poem, but for and to whom we do not know. Our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've already worked through our set of introductory comments. I'm hopeful that you've as well worked through the preceding 462 poems. We just finished with 462, Why Make It Tao? This is another poem that gestures towards Emily as what one scholar has called the New England nun. Sandra M. Gilbert has called it that. The idea that she became a recluse, Emily. But why? And what are the motivations behind staying so reclusive? This is another poem about losing the one that Emily loves. Notice all of the I's in this poem. And by I's here we mean the pronoun I, at least 6 times. I live with him. I see his face. I go no more away for visitor or sundown. Death's single privacy. The only one forestalling mine, and that by right that he presents a claim invisible. No wedlock granted me. I live with him. I hear his voice. I stand alive today to witness to the certainty of immortality. Taught me by time the lower way. Conviction every day that life like this is stopless. Be judgment what it may. Now it's a compelling poem because there's such a sense of I'm trying to figure this out, or maybe coming to terms with the loss of someone she cares about. Notice she'll say 6 times, I live with him who we, again, don't know. I see his face. We're going to hear about faces in 464 in the next poem. I go nowhere. This is, again, one of those important poems about a return to this question of Emily as recluse. By the way, you'll remember that this face reference was in 418 as well. Not in this world to see his face. For visitor or sundown, she doesn't want to see him. By the end, and this is one of the reasons we've called our series Chats with Emily, she would in fact sit behind the door to speak, or at the top of the stairs talking to those down below without face-to-face contact. We're back to sundown, and many scholars think a period here is probably better than the dash, because we begin then the next thought. Death's single privacy. Notice here the 2 D sounds of sundown and death's. Death's single privacy, the only one. Notice the 2 O's there. Forestalling mine, and that by right that he presents a claim invisible. Are we talking death here? Probably. No wedlock. We're back to 461 and the idea of being a wife, and all of the referencing to that. Again, back to 199 as well. No wedlock granted me. And then it's like a repeat. I live with him. Notice that's the opening line. But now it's, I hear his voice, as opposed to I see his face. I hear his voice. I stand alive today to witness to the certainty of immortality. Is this hope-filled? Some have read it as that. Taught me by time. And then notice time is the lower way, as opposed to the higher way of immortality, right? Conviction every day that life like this is stopless. Again, the referencing to clocks and the like. Be judgment what it may. Now, when we get to poem 577, she'll play the game this way. If I may have it when it's dead, I'll be contented. So, if just as soon as breath is out, it shall belong to me until they lock it in the grave. 'Tis bliss I cannot weigh, for though they lock thee in the grave, myself can own the key. She'll continue, think of it, lover, I and thee, permitted face to face to be after a life, a death, will say, for death was that, and this is thee. I'll tell thee all, how bald it grew, how midnight felt at first to me, how all the clocks stopped in the world. Notice again this idea of time. And sunshine pinched me, 'twas so cold. Then how the grief got sleepy, some as if my soul were deaf and dumb, just making signs across to thee, that this way thou couldst notice me. I'll tell you how I tried to keep a smile, to show you when this deep all waited, we look back for play at those old times in Calvary. Forgive me if the grave comes slow, for coveting to look at thee. Forgive me if to stroke thy frost out visions paradise. And when we get to poem 640, we'll play a game that's similar. I cannot live with thee, it would be life. And life is over there behind the shell. The sexton keeps the key to putting up our life, his porcelain like a cup. And when we get to both of these poems, we'll come back to this one. All right, what's Emily doing at 2A here? I think her argument is that true love transcends death. I think that's the point that she's making. At 2B, all of the eyes of this poem I think are fascinating. At 3A, we can't help but think of John Donne's Holy Sonnet 10, Death Be Not Proud. Finally, at 3B, do you have a friendship in your life that will survive death? I certainly hope that's the case for you. Thank you.